I'm lost for words. I'm truly lost for words. I have no idea how I should react to this. You guys tell me, how should I react? I don't know. I'm not even pissed. I'm so used to this happening. I'm used to this by now. So I just don't know how to react. It's an unfortunate situation, but I'm so used to this happening, I just don't know how to react. I'm not even pissed. Like, legitimately. So, Rashod Bateman, he was dealing with a foot injury heading into last week. You know, we were on a short week. We were playing the Bucks on Thursday Night Football. He practiced that week. Granted, it was limited, but he did practice. He himself felt good enough to go into that game because, again, at the time, the foot injury wasn't seen as severe, so he felt good enough to go in, and they allowed him to play. He played on Thursday night, re-aggravated the injury, and ended up leaving that game. We end up getting an update about the situation from John Harbaugh. Because of him going in and re-aggravating that injury, the foot injury turned from something minor, which will make him be gone for maybe 1 to 2 weeks, to something a little bit more severe, where it becomes now he's going to be gone for the next couple of weeks. You know, I reported on this on Monday. I said John Harbaugh told us he was going to be out for the next several weeks. And I was like, okay, well, it's unfortunate he re-aggravated it. Maybe we should have kept him out and let him have that extra rest during the bye week, but they chose to play him, and he personally wanted to play, so I'm not going to hold the team responsible. If a player feels good enough to go and wants to play, hey, it's on the player. Whatever happens is on the player. I understand that. But, you know, it goes from it being minor to him re-aggravating it and leaving the game on Thursday. Then it expands to it being a little bit more major, where he's out for the next couple of weeks, to now where we are Thursday. So we get another update, and apparently Rashod Bateman is going to need foot surgery. He is officially out for the rest of the season. How did we get here? How did we go from a minor foot injury to an injury that's gonna need a couple extra weeks to recover, to now being out for the season because he needs surgery? How did we get here? On Monday, they reported he was going to be out for a couple weeks. Now on Thursday, he's gone for the rest of the season? How? How did we get here? How did we go from A to W? What happened in the last 72 hours? What happened? Monday, he's going to be gone for the next couple weeks. Okay, cool. Thursday, he's out for the rest of the season. He needs surgery. What happened? I do have a question, though. So he re-aggravated that injury on Thursday. I'm sure they got an MRI on that to see how it's going. So they probably got an MRI. They probably looked at it. My question is, when did the Ravens actually know that not even actually know, but when did the possibility, when the medical staff took a look at it and when they took a look at the MRI, when did the possibility of foot surgery come to the table? When did the Ravens realize that the possibility that Rashod Bateman is going to need foot surgery, when did that come to the table? When did that report happen? When did they realize that certain circumstance may end up happening? When did they realize Rashod Bateman may need foot surgery? When did they realize that? Did it happen over the last 72 hours? Because if that's the case, I don't think the fan base should be sitting back pissed off at the Ravens, because if the possibility wasn't there, then you can't hold them accountable for that. You know, we got the report on Monday he's going to be out for the next couple weeks, but if the possibility was not stated before then to the Ravens, then you can't be mad. However, if they knew about that prior to Monday, then yes, the Ravens fan base is going to be very pissed, because the trade deadline was Tuesday. You had an opportunity to go out and trade for a receiver that will replace that spot for Rashod Bateman, and you chose not to do it. A lot of people were saying they don't need a trade for a receiver because we're going to get Rashod Bateman back. Well, guess what? He's not coming back. So I want to know, when did the Ravens realize that the possibility of Rashod Bateman needing foot surgery was on the table? When did they realize that? Because if they realized that very recently, maybe if they figured that out yesterday or early this morning, you can't hold them for it because they thought it wasn't as bad as it seemed. But if they found out about that prior to the report we got on Monday from Coach Harbaugh, then yeah, the Ravens flock is going to be very pissed, because you could have traded for a receiver to replace Bateman, who's going to be gone for the rest of the year, and you chose not to do so. So, we're never going to get the answer to that, but it's very interesting to think about, because a lot of Ravens flock, I already saw the reaction. People saying, why didn't you trade for a receiver then? If Bateman's going to be out, why did you trade for a receiver? We got to clarify when they actually figured that out, because getting pissed at them for something that maybe they didn't even realize was going to be the case until recently, there's no reason to get mad at them for that. Because if the possibility of surgery was not on the table prior to the trade deadline, then you shouldn't be pissed off that they didn't go out and get a receiver. They thought Bateman would be back. So that's kind of where I stand with that. In terms of the injury, man, it's unfortunate. It sucks. Best of luck to Rashod Bateman on the recovery process. Go get that surgery. We'll see you back here next year. Man. Yet another talented receiver wasted by injury. He was injured in his rookie year, missed the first half of it. When he came back, he played a couple games with Lamar. Then Lamar went down. He starts this year off well, finally healthy. Then he suffers a foot injury, and now he's gone for the rest of the season. I mean, it just seems like whenever the Ravens actually hit on a target, actually hit on a receiver that could be productive and talented for this group, it's unfortunate. It's like injuries seem to take away from those guys. You know, we thought Rashod Bateman would be that guy for us, but injuries ruined any chance he had of surviving in Baltimore. And Rashod Bateman has at least shown something. He's shown some stuff, so hopefully we could see more of that. But now that he's gone for the rest of the season, man, I know people are already ready to say he's going to be the next Rashod Bateman, because he's got a lot of talent, got the potential, but because he can't stay healthy, he's never going to live up to that potential. And it's unfortunate. It really is unfortunate. But yeah, that question I posed about when did they figure this out is really important here, because if they figured it out recently, within the last 28 to 48 hours, you can't really be pissed at them because they thought that he was going to be back. So there's no need to go trade for that receiver, according to them. But if they found out to this prior to Coach Harbaugh's report on Monday, that the possibility, not just saying it's going to happen, but the possibility, because that matters. You don't have to report that it's actually going to happen, because Rashod Bateman had to make the decision whether to continue to play on it or actually go get foot surgery. He chose to get foot surgery. So if they had that report that the possibility of it was happening prior to Monday, that's key. It doesn't have to be the report came on Monday, but the possibility. The decision probably happened within the next couple of days, and Bateman decided, sure. But if they knew about the possibility that he was going to need surgery prior to Monday, then yeah, they probably should have went to trade for a receiver. Unfortunately, that's not the Ravens' way. So that's kind of where I stand with it. And again, I'm not pissed. I'm so used to this. I'm not about to just get up here. First of all, you know, I'm not going to do that. But it's not like I can really just run around here. I can't do that right now. But I'm not going to get pissed and just yell out and say, the Ravens are this, the Ravens are not. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not. Because my question is, I want to know when the possibility of surgery came on the table for Rashod Bateman here. When did the Ravens get that report? Not about him making that decision, but the possibility, because that matters. If the possibility of surgery came up prior to Monday, Ravens Flock's going to look at them and say, why didn't you go trade for a receiver? If the possibility that Rashod Bateman was going to be gone for the rest of the season was on the table, why didn't you go trade for a receiver? Why? That's the question Ravens Flock's going to have. But if the possibility didn't come up until after the trade deadline, then you can't really hold them accountable for that, because they thought he'd be back. But, you know, it is what it is. It's an unfortunate situation. Moving forward, they're just going to stick with what they have. I know Ravens Flock, again, continues to throw out OBJ, but that's not going to happen. And oh, by the way, for the people that saying, well, there was nobody available, that is not the case. The Cowboys were trying to get Jerry Jeudy, but they weren't willing to accept what the Broncos wanted. They weren't willing to give that. So it is what it is. And not to mention, Brandon Cooks was practically begging. He was begging to be traded, but nobody matched the package. That nobody was willing to match the package that the Texans wanted for him. So he was not traded. That dude's pissed off because he's still in Houston. He was begging to be traded. So don't sit back and say there was nobody for the Ravens to trade for. No, they could have went and got Brandon Cooks. That was probably their best shot, because Cooks wanted to be gone so bad. So they could have got somebody, but they're not going to, because that's not the Ravens' way. They don't trade for receivers. That's not their way. They don't do that nonsense. That's not them. They don't value the receiving position the way the fan base wants them to. They don't utilize receivers like that. So they're not going to trade valuable picks to go pick up a receiver that can help them now. That's not the Ravens' way. So no, they were not going to do that. But again, for the people saying go out and get Odell, it's not going to happen. They're not going to go get OBJ. They're not going to go get OBJ. It's not happening. Y'all can sit here every day. I personally would love for that to happen. I personally would be shocked if that happens. But I'm telling you right now, Odell is not going to be a Raven. If it happens, hallelujah. You can clip this and say, hey, Keeping It Real was wrong. They actually went out and got Odell. I would be happy to be wrong. But based on what the franchise has shown us, based on how they've treated their receivers, based on how they've shown the lack of value they have towards the receiving core, or the lack of emphasis they have towards improving the receiving core, I don't think they're going to go get Odell. I don't see it happening. I don't. I do not see Odell as a Raven. They're not going to pick him up. You're going to have to be happy with Deshaun Jackson, who, by the way, is most likely going to be taken off of the practice squad, and he probably will play on Monday night. So, yeah. Better be happy with Odell and Andy Isabella, because those are your new additions. So with Rashod Bateman being gone, automatically Devin Duvernay becomes your number one receiver, which honestly is not that much of a difference from what's been here now, because technically, based on how he's produced, he's looked like the number one receiver. Like, we're being honest. Look at what Devin Duvernay's done this season. He's looked like the number one receiver for the Ravens, so not much is going to change there. I guess he may get a little bit more production, but with Rashod Bateman gone, that means the other guys that they actually brought here is going to have to step up. So, Deshaun Jackson's going to get some looks. Demarcus Robinson, his production is going to probably increase as well. James Prochet might actually get utilized a little bit more because they're going to have no choice but to play him. Tyler Wallace's production might come up. We might see them actually bring in Andy Isabella, though I don't know about that. So yeah, the guys they have on the roster here, they're just going to work with it because that's what the Ravens do. They don't really invest in the receiving core the way we want them to, and they don't really value the receiving core the way we wish them to. So yeah, what we have here is what we have here. Nothing's going to really change. It is what it is. It's unfortunate. It sucks that Rashod Bateman is out for the season, but there's nothing we can do. I would love to get pissed. I really would, but it's not going to change anything for the most part. And again, I'm not surprised that this is happening. This is well within my expectations, man. It's well within my expectations. It's well within my expectations, just based on how the last couple years have gone. There's gonna be a couple people that suffer some season-ending injuries, and it's unfortunate. I don't want that to happen, but it's part of the game. We just gotta hope that it's not too severe, because last year it was so many. This year it's dramatically dropped down. And for the last couple weeks, it's been relatively steady, but here we have another person to add to that, and unfortunately, it's a key player. So all we have to do at this point is just see what this receiving core can do, and continue to hope that Mark Andrews' injuries aren't severe and it's not serious to the point where it could elevate into something worse. Because if Mark Andrews ends up in a severe situation where he may be out for significant time, we are screwed. But, it is what it is, man. We just got to deal with it however we got to deal with it. Anyway, Rashod Bateman, rest up, my mans. Get the surgery. And I wish you the best of luck in your recovery process. It is what it is at the end of the day. Anyway, that's all I got to say. I got nothing else to really put up here because I'm not pissed, so I don't have much to say. I'm not going to just go off on the Ravens front office or the Ravens as a whole. So it is what it is when it comes to the situation. Anyway, with that being said, that is all I've got, and I'm out of here, man. Peace!